I'm Len Gary of the original Quarrymen. I used to play the tea-chest bass with Lennon and McCartney. 1957 I was there when John Lennon met Paul at St. Peter's Village Hall. You're watching Talk and Roll.
Oh, Bob and Paul on Talk and Roll.
You got it.
On Talk and Roll.
That's right.
Good evening. Welcome once again to Talk and Roll. I'm Paul Gagel, your co-host. And as always, my partner and co-host is back from a special excursion from England, Bob Boyer, with some special footage.
Thanks, Paul. October 2000 marks what would have been John Lennon's 60th birthday. Tonight we go back to John Lennon's earliest rock and roll roots, his first band, the Quarrymen. The Quarrymen were formed in Liverpool, England in 1957. In August 2000, the original Quarrymen, that is Len Gary on guitar, Pete Shotton on bass, Colin Hanton on drums, Eric Griffith on guitar, and Rod Davies on guitar, got together to play at Quarrybank High School. This was the very place where John Lennon first met Paul McCartney. And now, in honor and in memory of John Lennon, we present, in their own words and music, the Quarrymen.
So just for, you know, anybody else who doesn't know, we're actually the Quarrymen. And the reason we're here is that this is actually the very place that it all started. The Beatles wouldn't have happened, the world wouldn't have changed in the way it did if it hadn't been for this actual field. In fact, it could be this actual spot that we were on. I was walking across the field with John, because we were at school together here. We were walking across from our form room, across the field, and we were talking about Lonnie Donegan and music, and John turned to me out of the blue and said, how about starting a band? Should we start a skiffle group? And I said, you've got to be kidding. I haven't got a clue how to play music, as you've obviously noticed. And anyway, he said, come on, a little laugh, right, we'll just have a bit of fun, right, get a tea chest and a washboard and da-da-da, and we'll have a laugh. And I used to like having a laugh in those days.
You've changed.
Oh, yeah, I've changed, yeah. And so I foolishly agreed to do this. So a little gang of us got together. We found out we said who can play what, and we said, can anybody play a musical instrument here? And Rod, who was like a bit of a swot at the school, right? He turned out to be a head boy actually, but keep it quiet. We didn't used to mix with people like that. But Rod put his hand up. He said, I can play the banjo. And we said, okay, you're in. So next day he went out and bought a banjo. Anyway, that's how the Quarrymen came, because John said to me at the same time, he said, what should we call the band? So we decided we were going to have a skiffle group, and he said, what should we call the band? And I said, how about the Quarrymen? Which was really, we went to Quarrybank, of course, but we didn't really like it very much, to tell you the truth. We liked the holidays and the weekends and things, but we didn't actually like the school days.
You were never there.
That's true. So I said the Quarrymen is a bit of a send-up, as a bit of a joke about, you know, should we call ourselves after the school? And he said, yeah, great, okay. So that's how the Quarrymen came to start and to be formed. And as you well know, we're going to tell you the story of how the Quarrymen evolved into the Beatles, how gradually we got rid of people like John and Paul and all that.
Holding us back, weren't they?
Well, as you can see, they weren't quite up to our standards, right? So, and what we'd like to do now is annoy you with another number.
That's all right, Mama.
That's all right, Mama, and it's nice to see so many people here who appreciate good music. And mamas and papas. Would you bring, please?
One, two, three, four.
That's alright, Mama. That's alright with you. That's alright, Mama. Any old way you do, that's alright. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright, Mama. Any way you do. That's good, boy. Oh, Mama, she done told me. Papa done told me to. I saw that gal you're fooling when she ain't. leave you before you pick 'em up. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, my Susie. And anyway, do should I give me a mention? Well, I'm leaving town, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. And then you won't be bothered with me knocking on your door. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, my mama. Anyway, do I'm leaving town again, boys. Here we go. I'm leaving town, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. And then you won't be bothered with me knocking on your door. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, my mama. Anyway, do. Oh, I'm gonna finish there, but Polly's finished. A little bit about the early days. Of course, you know about skiffle, homemade instruments, tea-chest bass, washboard, anything we could lay our hands on, which is cheap. But skiffle was short-lived. Skiffle was acceptable at places like the Cabin because it was accounted as a jazz, form of jazz, so we could play skiffle at the Cabin. But rehearsal times was another different story. Guys like Gene Vincent were coming on with, and we think, how are we going to get the echo? We can't get the echo like that. We'll have to rehearse in somebody's bathroom. Punchline, come on. So we used to go to Julia's bathroom and stand in the bath. You remember that? You're washing your feet. The last time we did it, yeah. Keep it clean, man. Keep it clean. I can remember the very first rehearsal. I don't know if you remember this, Pete. It was John Lennon on his old twangy guitar. He got for about a ton, I think it was. Was it in the back shed, your back shed? Bomb shelter. The bomb shelter. And we were playing Cumberland Gap.
We didn't know the war was over.
Oh, what was it? Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, something like. Do you remember that, Colin? I remember it. I remember it well. Well, that's a little snippet.
I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the next song we're going to do. When we were kids in Liverpool, of course, Liverpool was a very busy port. We used to have lots of sailors coming in, ships coming in all the time. It was fantastic. And what we had in Liverpool, as everybody knows who's from there, we were a very friendly race of people, really. And what we had when all these ships coming in, we used to have a lot of very kind-hearted ladies who used to go down and greet these poor sailors, right? And it was a pretty, you know, as a naval base, it was full of discharged seamen most of the time.
It's all right, it's filtering through, Pete, it's filtering through.
And these nice ladies used to go down and relieve the seamen of as much money as they could. But they used to give them a lot of pleasure, actually, because the sailors used to love coming to the port. And of all these ladies of the night, there was one in particular who they wrote a song about. And this song is dedicated to her memory, and all the memories that she gave to all the sailors who visited them. And her name was Maggie May, and we'd like to play it for you.
Right, let's go on with the music. I was paid up at the pool, in the port of Liverpool, at £3 a week, that was my pay. My pay. With a pocket full of tin, I was very soon taken in by a girl by the name of Maggie May. Oh, Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken her away. She'll never walk down Line Street anymore. And as Judgy Judy found her, robbing a homeward bounder, that dirty, robbing no good Maggie May. Well,
the first time I saw Maggie, well, she took my breath away. Just cruising up and down in Canning Place. I know it well, where the figure's so divine, like a frigate of the line. Well, me being a sailor, I gave chase. Oh, Maggie, 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 they have taken her away. She'll never walk down my street anymore. And that judgy guilty found it, for robbing a homeward bounder. That's dirty robbing, no good, Maggie, Maggie. In the morning I woke, I was flat and stony broke. No trousers, waistcoat, wallet could I find. And when I asked her where, she said, my very good sir, they're down in Kelly's pawn shop number 9. Oh, Maggie, 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 they have taken her away. She'll never walk down that street anymore. And that judgy guilty found her, for robbing a homeward bounder. That dirty robbing, no good, Maggie May. Last time, oh, Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken her away. She'll never walk down that street anymore. And that judgy guilty found her, for robbing a homeward bounder. That dirty robbing, no good, Maggie May. Thank you.
But we used to go and play around and in different parts of Liverpool, and they had these skiffle talent competitions that we would play anywhere for anything. Sometimes we got paid, but it didn't really matter. And the other groups would come along and pick up a guitar and start to play it. Of course, they'd start trying to play our guitars on banjo chords, guitar chords, and ours were tuned to banjo, so they thought, well, these guys have no chance at all. And often we didn't. But anyway, that's how we came to learn to play the guitar and sort of progress from there.
We're going to do a skiffle number called Long Gone, Last Job.
Yes.
Feet on the washi. Ready, lads? Order, lads. Ready? Now he's long, long, long gone. Now he's long, long, long gone. Now lost John standing by the railroad track, waiting for the freight train to come back. The freight train come back with little late no stop. The last John pulled it out to ride the top. Long, long, long gone. Now it's long, long, long gone. Now lost John came to a countryman's house, sat there quiet, cried as a mouse. Said, listen, lost John, be my friend, don't till the end. Long, long, long gone. Now it's long, long, long gone. Well, Mr. Lost John had some beer. I'll bring it for the porter and we'll bring it here. He said, no woman, don't swap no beer. The cops is on the trail, they'll soon be here. Long, long, long gone. Now it's long, long, long gone. Now Lost John made a pair of shoes of his own. He found his shoes, they were worn, heels on fronts, heels behind. He couldn't tell me why not just black. Long, long, long gone. In the morning. Long, long, long gone. When the cop popped on, pulled him in the pen, found him in the gun, now he's out again. Anybody ask you who sung the song, tell them that the Quarrymen were here and gone. Long, long, long gone. Long, long, long gone. Hit it again, boys. Well, the coast comes John, pulled him in the pen, found him in the gun, now he's out again. Anybody ask you who sung the song, tell them that the Quarrymen were here and gone. Long, long, long gone. Now long, long, long gone. Let's take it out, nice boys.
Keep it going with it.
And here's Paul with some more information on the Quarrymen.
Okay, let's go right to the name, the Quarrymen, Bob. They drew that name from a school?
Yeah, they went to the Quarry Bank High School, so they decided to call themselves the Quarrymen, which made sense.
That made sense. And the other thing, too, is John Lennon started this band, and a fellow I want to ask you about, this guy Ivan Vaughan, who was in the Quarry lineup when it was called the Blackjacks. This is pre-John Lennon. He was the fellow that introduced Paul McCartney to John Lennon at a place in, jeez, I keep forgetting. Wilton,
yeah.
A suburb called Wilton. And Paul McCartney was an interesting fellow. John, I think, was kind of infatuated with Paul because not only could Paul actually play guitar, but he could tune it. And,
that counted back then.
Yeah, that really counted that then. Not only that, but Paul had songs. Paul could write lyrics, and I think the first chemistry, or the first collaboration was actually started at that little gig, at that picnic, where Paul actually played 2 songs for John Lennon, and one of them was a Buddy Holly composition, That'll Be the Day, and Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps, a song called Bebop-A-Lula. And I think John said, I got to get Paul in this band, and I think at a club called the Casbah, I think.
That was Pete Best's mother, Mona's venue. Small little place, yeah.
They played there. But I think we can credit the club called the Clubmore Conservative Hall in Norris Green in Liverpool in August of 1957 when Paul actually jumped on the stage with John and played in the first, the first lineup where they were together in the Quarrymen.
The place that we're seeing on this particular episode is where they actually met. It wasn't where they first played, but it was where they met.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. And I think we could go to another factoid that I picked up during my research here, was that John and Paul met George Harrison. Because George Harrison was a classmate of Paul's at high school. He was actually a year younger than Paul.
The big age difference between him and John at that age when you're a young teenager like that is it's a big gap when someone's 13 and someone's 16.
When Paul first met John, Paul was only 14 years old, I understand, and John was, what, 16? But like you said, George was the younger of the 3. And there was we go back to this Casbah Club in West Derby, where the 3 actually debuted in the first Beatles lineup, which they were still, I think, called, no, they changed to Johnny and the Moondogs at that time.
Even with the Quarrymen, it was a revolving door. People were coming and going, but the 5 blokes you're seeing on this particular episode were in the band, not all at the same time, but at one point, yes. Of course, Paul McCartney isn't there. He's busy with other things, counting money and such, Couldn't show up for the fete, I guess. Anyway, back to more footage, and here's more from the Quarrymen.
I think it's about time we tell you who we are. I know there's a lot of you who are Beatles fans who have seen the photograph in Bolton in 1957 when the day that John met Paul.
Yeah, well.
So, although it's 40 years ago, I'm sure you'll recognise each and every one of us. I've still got my hair.
Who's got your hair, Len? I'll change the style a little bit.
All about the face, though, isn't it?
On the end over there, the talkative one is Rod. He played the banjo then. Then the one who we have to shut up every now and then, but he gets a bit out of hand. Pete of the washboard. And now the teacher. And Len, who in those days played the tea chest, but now he can get near a microphone. He's our main singer. And hiding at the back, stand up, Colin. Oh, you are. Is Colin, now Colin. Colin stayed with the Quarrymen the longest of us all. He's on the anthology. So he's worth a few bob. Why not? And I'm Eric Griffiths. I play the guitar, banjo style and the cello. I'm struggling now.
Just a little point here. I'd just like to interject, as they say, for a moment. Colin was the last remaining one before he got rid of the other three. And as you know, they were known, when Colin was a group, the Beatles were known as the Fab Four. But when Colin played with them, they were known as the Fab 3.5.
Oh, it's a 1 for the morning, a 2 for the show, a 3 to get ready now, go cat, go, don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything, go on my blue suede shoe. You can knock me down, step on my face, slap my name all over the place. I'll do anything that you want to do. Honey, they hop on my shoes and don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything, hop on my blue suede shoes. You can burn my house, steal my car, drink my liquor from my old fruit jar. And do anything that you want to do. Honey, they hop on my shoes and don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything, hop on my blue suede shoes. I'm blue suede shoes, baby. I'm blue suede shoes, yeah. I'm blue suede shoes, yeah. I'm blue suede shoes. You can do anything, hop on my blue suede shoes. So I'm for the morning, a 2 for the show. I'm gonna get ready now, go, cat, go, don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything, hop on my blue suede shoes. They're rocking a little bit, boy, come on. I'm blue suede shoes, yeah. I'm blue suede shoes, baby. I'm blue suede shoes. I'm blue suede shoes. You can do anything, but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Da-da-do-da. We're going to do the one off the anthology. A particular request from somebody. I think there's one person. In spite of all the danger, in spite of all that may be, I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to, the little bit to the bit. In spite of all the heartache you make for me, I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to, the little bit to the bit. Well, I love
that was the Quarrymen. Stay tuned to Talk and Roll in the coming months for more fun and music from Liverpool 2000's Beatle Convention. And here's Paul.
Finally, we're going to leave you with a few parting words from Rod Davies of the Quarrymen. Thanks for watching, and good night from Talk and Roll.
I'm Rod Davies of the Quarrymen, and you're watching Bob and Paul on Talk and Roll.